Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service this morning. Hope you're having a great late summer weekend. We are the only show in the metro area that talks about business expansion, real estate construction, economic development, and all those things that go into making Omaha a more vibrant, prosperous place to live, work, and play. That's a mouthful, but without any further ado, I want to bring on my co-host and co-founder of Grow Omaha Media, the legendary real estate dealmaker, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jeff.
Well, good morning to you. And we have an important announcement today. We have yet another feature that we have added on growomaha.com. We're calling them Grow Omaha's Biggest Lists. And some of you may be aware of some of these big lists. But first of all, let me tell you what we have for our list. We have lists of daily restaurant specials. We have lists of all of the party rooms that are available in Omaha restaurants. We have a comprehensive list of happy hours and the deals you get at happy hours. We have a very cool list of coffee shops in town and our Grow Omaha big list of birthday parties. So you go on these lists, and not only do they have scores and scores of coffee shops and restaurant party rooms and happy hour specials and daily food specials at restaurants, they're searchable. So like right now, I'm looking at Grow Omaha's big list of coffee shops. And first of all, you can search by feature. Do they have pastry items? Do you get a ceramic mug instead of a paper mug?
Something
Do they have a drive-through? You are loud, normal, quiet noise levels, and then like you can divide it by parts of town or suburbs. And we do that for all of these. Some of you might be familiar with them. They're designed by Cam Vosick. She's a longtime marketing person here in Omaha. Loves good deals, loves restaurants.
She's a rock star.
Several years ago, Cam decided, okay, I'm going to make all these lists. And, they were on like Omaha Food Lovers Facebook group, and they became very, very popular. We did a deal with Cam. All of her lists are now over at Grow Omaha. So here's the deal. Let's say you're thinking, all right, where should we go out to lunch or dinner today? Go to growomaha.com. See the word lists on the navigation bar, drop down menu there, click daily specials, and you'll see what's the special there. Maybe like you want to go happy hour after work sometime. Before you go to Grow Omaha, click on lists, go to happy hours. You're not going to find a more comprehensive list of all these things. It's another way that we are providing services out there, getting people involved in the community and making Omaha a more special place for all of us who live here.
Absolutely. And I think that's part of the reason why Grow Omaha Media, the Grow Omaha show, after 20 years of being on the air, received a prestigious award from the CRE Summit yesterday, the Commercial Real Estate Summit. Jerry Selesky, 35 years ago, a prominent local attorney and developer, started this thing with a couple hundred people when the real estate was really down in the dumps at Creighton University, and he has built that into with a team of people. His sidekick right now, co-organizer, is Chris Menzinger, a friend of ours, a fellow real estate practitioner. And unfortunately, Jeff couldn't be there because he was moving Jack Beals into the fraternity house at Lincoln his freshman year. And interestingly, 1,075 weeks ago when we started the show, Jack Beals had not been born yet. And so now our team has built almost an empire. We're getting to empire status. Now we'll just say that we're prolific and we're omnipresent, and we encourage everyone to, if you're not one of the 21,000 people that get our weekly market report for free, you're welcome to send us money, but it's all free thanks to the sponsors and advertisers. Go to growomaha.com, sign up for the free weekly newsletter. Jeff hits send, and it goes into your inbox Thursday afternoons. And we just keep growing on this brand. And now we have Brad Williams, who's been with us for a couple decades, who's Brad Williams Photography, E&A Consulting. He does a lot of our social media, fills in for us when one of us is gone. And then we have Chris and Jennifer Corey, who handles a lot of our back end on the website and a lot of our technology and social media, and they have Arbor Creative, so check them out as well. And our most recent edition is a group of writers that love what we do, what they do, and they have transportation news, they have entertainment, movie reviews, food reviews, thanks to Chris, and all different types of economic development news and daily briefs every day at the website. We just updated the website. So with that, we appreciate the CRE Summit's recognition. We got the Chairman's Award for 20 years of being on the air, and I want to thank Jerry Slusky and Chris Menzinger and everyone there. So it's been a big week.
Has been a big week, and with that, we have also a big week of news items for you. So it's time for the Grow Omaha News Update. It's brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. They are the premier mortgage broker in town, been doing it for over 30 years, and Eagle Mortgage is not a bank. So that means they, as mortgage brokers, can work with a variety of banks to find the best lending solution for you. So if you're thinking about buying a house, and it doesn't matter whether that's imminent or maybe a few months out, talk to Eagle Mortgage. Probably the earlier the better. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com or in person at 114th and Davenport. Doesn't matter what kind of loan you're doing, conventional, FHA, VA, Eagle Mortgage can help you with that. All right, some news items that we have for you. The City of Omaha plans to build a 600-stall parking garage at Millwork Commons. That is the very cool area north of Charles Schwab Field. The City Council approved a resolution just last week to get the construction manager in place. This parking garage will be located just east of the Ashton Building. So if we can give you an idea about where the Ashton Building is. It's the thing that's got Coneflower Creamery in it. Now everyone's like, okay, I know where that is.
And Cross Drain Brewery.
All those places. And so it's going to be just east of the Ashton Building. It will be bounded by 11th, 12th, and Nicholas Streets along with Millwork Avenue, a $25 to $30 million project. That is going to be like gasoline on a fire for Millwork Commons once we get that parking garage open.
And for the College World Series.
I'd like to welcome Hubble Realty Company of West Des Moines, Iowa, to the Omaha market. Their first Omaha area development project is going to be Sagebrook, a 264-unit multifamily development. Will be built on 15 acres northwest of 96th and Giles in La Vista. $55 million project, going to have 180 apartments, 84 rental townhomes with all of the nice apartment amenities. Groundbreaking takes place this Tuesday at noon. If you are a person who loves development or maybe is in La Vista, you might want to swing by 96th and Giles Tuesday at noon. Construction is scheduled for completion in late 2025.
They also have an industrial development, about 80 acres at least, over in Sarpy County.
Yeah, I talked with a couple representatives from Hubble, and they're very, very excited to come into Omaha. With this apartment project, they definitely are aware of the fact that we have a very healthy market with low vacancy, and all these apartment developers also are aware that Omaha recently was number one for apartment rental growth among major markets in the country, and that's not a great thing if you're a tenant, I suppose.
I was gonna say.
But what it does is it tells us that the area is healthy and it's growing. And so it's a good sign. It's a good sign for that. So just keep working hard and make more money. And hopefully you can afford one of those nice apartments in our nice city. Speaking of apartments, a 4-story residential building is planned for 2226 Howard Street downtown. This is kind of on the southwest corner of downtown, if you will. Going to be a really cool building. Not a ton of units, only about 34 units, because they're going to put it in where they the developer recently demolished a single-family house that had fallen into terrible disrepair. So this is a real nice upgrade for this property. Some of you who are aware of downtown development know that there was a nice 5 to 6 story building recently completed right there as well. This won't be as big as that one. It'll be across the street and to the north, smaller project, but still 4 stories with some indoor parking, so it should be a really cool project. And I also want to let everyone know, Trenton, you'll be excited about this because you have a lot of good friendships with the folks at Lockwood Development. That company is kicking off plans to build a mixed-use residential project. The actual address is 300 South 72nd Street, but it's basically the southeast corner of 72nd and Farnham. Right now, there's a Jimmy John's there and a whole bunch of vacant lots. This is going to be a massive building. It'll be 5 stories, in some places 6 stories, with 100 enclosed parking spaces, and looks like maybe like a couple hundred apartment units. And Jimmy John's, which is currently there, is actually going to be incorporated into the ground floor of the building, and
with
will still have a drive-through. And when I look at the city plans, it looks like to access the drive-through, you'll go under the building, around the back, and then come around the east side. It's going to be a pretty cool project.
And you know what other restaurant's going to be there?
What is it?
You want to know?
Well, yes, it's Grow Omaha. We divulge restaurant news.
Dean Hodges and his family, who owns about half the Jimmy John's in Omaha, and also Hawaiian Brothers, is going to have another Williamsburg pizza there.
Really? So breaking news on Grow Omaha this morning, Williamsburg Pizza.
Sorry, Dean, if you didn't want that out there yet.
Coming to 72nd and Farm. Now 20,000 people have heard it.
Yep.
So hopefully Dean did want that out there. That's going to be a really, really nice project and complement the future Crossroads project, which we expect to start seeing going vertical in 2025. And then finally, we want to mention just a couple other quick things. Actually, just one more quick thing. United Republic Bank has started construction. It was about a little over a month ago on a branch office at 216th and Capehart. 216th there is also Highways 6 and 31. So it's going to be on the northwest corner of Highway 6 and Capehart Road. Hasn't gone vertical yet, but they've been doing a lot of groundwork there, and that'll be a nice addition. And that will be United Republic Bank's very first branch office outside of their original one, which is located just a little bit west of Village Point. And that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. When we come back, we're going to talk about the new Market to Midtown Bikeway. Very, very cool project that will inject even more energy into the urban core. We're going to talk with Scott Dobbe from Omaha by Design, and we're going to talk to him about a few other urban core issues and Omaha growth and development issues. You're really going to like listening to Scott. A lot to say, great guy, and it'll be an interesting conversation. So stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Cheer Athletics and Dingman's Collision Center on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot at your service. Our thanks to Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics, our title sponsors who make this possible. Dingman's Collision Center has 4 metro area locations, soon to be a 5th.
Yep.
Trenton.
Can't really talk about it yet, but it may be, let's call it way southwest.
Okay, so Trenton and the Dingmans are working on it, but it doesn't matter where you go, all of the locations are great. Well, we are going to talk about a really cool movement and development in the urban core. And some of you may have heard about the Market to Midtown Bikeway that was announced this week. It was all over growomaha.com. And we have with us Scott Dobbe, who is in charge of Omaha by Design and played a role in this Market to Midtown Bikeway. Scott, good morning. Welcome.
Well, gentlemen, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we've been wanting to have you on the show for some time, and we've got you here this morning. And we'll talk a little bit about Omaha by Design in a moment, the organization that you lead. But first, let's get right into this Market to Midtown Bikeway. We had a pilot bikeway project on Harney Street for a while, and it's running its course. And now there's something new and exciting that is going to permanently replace us. Bring us up to speed with what's going on.
I will do so. Can I also just tell you guys congrats? I was at the CRE Summit, of course, yesterday.
Thank you.
It's a big deal. I mean, you may have said you're prolific. You were a little bit hesitant to say an empire. It's an empire you guys have built, and it's required listening and required reading. I made sure that my whole team has the weekly market report coming into their inboxes. So thanks for doing what you do.
Yeah, sign your friends up, people. It's free, and Grow Omaha Media, we're out there. And we're prolific, but we have not received a Laurel Award from Omaha by Design yet.
Well,
goodness gracious!
Let's talk the Laurel Awards while we brought it up.
Well, actually, Can we go to the first question I just asked him?
Sorry.
Okay, fine.
Okay, the reason he's here. Okay, go ahead.
I started that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my diversion. Okay, well, the Market of Midtown Bikeway. We are thrilled to have been partnered with the city in this innovative effort. Omaha by Design is a nonprofit. We've also helped to create a separate nonprofit for the focused work of kind of innovating what we do in a city and thinking about how do we work smarter, more efficiently, especially in the realm of transportation and mobility. And so the first major project of Metro Smart Cities was to partner with the city of Omaha to create the Market to Midtown Bikeway pilot. What this is it is kind of the leading edge of what cities are moving to now to make sure that we can have streets that function for all users. We've got a lot of demand downtown. As you know, you guys report on regular, the urban core is growing. We've got folks that like to get around in different modes. And so what we did was we implemented a pilot project, an 18-month pilot project that ran on Harney Street. And it took one lane that had been parking. It shifted the parking into a traffic lane. You still had, depending on where you were, 3 or 4 lanes. And then in that lane, we implemented a 2-way bicycle track. So this was new to the Metro, and we did so. Metro Smart Cities took care of street sweeping and snow removal, and we implemented a hotline so that we could get feedback from adjacent property owners and from riders and motorists. And through this course, we learned and we adapted on the fly that it really worked. And we saw a great uptick in riders using this. It moves them from other places where maybe they were riding in a street that didn't feel as safe to a place where they did feel really safe. And for adjacent property and business owners, residents, they seem to really like it. So from that learning, we're now to the point where we're ready to make this permanent. And that's the announcement that really came about this week.
So Jeff is a huge cross-city bike rider. Rarely see him behind the wheel of an automobile. Just kidding. But you've ridden a bike.
Sure.
Okay.
I know how to.
Okay. So I've got a bike, too. It's in my garage. Obviously, it's a learning curve for everybody, and it not only for the riders, but also for the people in their cars. And what kind of education is being done to make sure that they're looking out for each other?
I think part of that is, experiencing it. And that's what this pilot, in a way, helped to do. If you go to metrosmartcities.org, there's more information in that as well. We tried to share. But generally what we found is it's kind of common sense. It seems new, and at first it's a little adjustment, but we didn't have any problems. We didn't have any real safety issues of any note. And in fact, what we saw was there were more and more riders telling us we needed this because maybe if you're not one of those super confident cyclists who would ride in any kind of traffic, right? And that's not most of us. 90% of us are like, hey, give me a safe way to do it, and I'll do it here or there. And that's what this has seemed to allow.
Yeah, I on the times I do ride a bike, it's only on trails or something like that for bikes. Now, so Scott, the pilot was strictly on Harney Street. It went from 10th Street in the old market to the kind of the edge of Midtown, right there at Turner Boulevard. This new plan is partly on Harney, but also partly on Farnham. Why the switch?
That was driven by a number of factors, but really it's working in close concert with the streetcar project. Obviously, major investment coming to the urban core here. And what we see is there's varying widths. The urban core kind of changes over its course. What'll end up happening is this will run from Midtown Crossing, basically Turner Boulevard, on Farnham. And one of the reasons we did that is the hill on Farnham, believe it or not, is a lower slope than it is on Harney. Now, that's not something that probably matters a lot when you're driving your car, but when you're on a bicycle, you feel that difference.
Every degree matters.
It does.
Okay, here's a big question. Are motorized scooters allowed, that people are standing on? I see a picture with one on there. Is that permissible on the bike path?
On the bikeway, absolutely. I mean, that's the idea, is to give these different means a
Safer.
place to be that's better for them to be there. Then they're not meant to be on the sidewalk, and in traffic is sometimes
And I think that's huge, because I think people that pick up those scooters and subscribe and know how to do it, I think they're down in the old market. They're told to stay on the streets, which I understand. But that's another learning curve, and making sure that people are friendly towards each other.
So if you look at the rendering, and they are available on growomaha.com, first of all, the renderings are beautiful. There's the bikeway is separated from everything else by a raised median type look. The rendering shows some plantings in them, maybe some decorative brick, and then the renderings also show where the future streetcar will pass as well. So basically, it's multimodal in that you can walk, you can bike, you can use the scooters, there's parking, there's a streetcar, there's still 2 lanes of traffic each direction on Farnham and Harney for the cars to go. Talk to us a little bit about the importance of that, Scott, and how all of those multimodal things are going to work together on these Farnham and Harney corridors.
Well, this is great evidence of how our city is growing up. There's more and more that is coming to the urban core. There's more vibrancy, activity, business, economic activity, and that is supported by moving people around. And the best and most efficient ways that cities are finding, and much larger cities that have a lot greater density in this kind of a space, are looking to multimodal streets like this. It may seem counterintuitive, but actually balancing and kind of in an organized fashion, separating travel lanes from other means like bikes and such, has really proven to boost that.
Well, and we want to get a downtown that's very active and throughout the day and throughout the year, and these are the types of things that do that. We have to take our middle of the show break, but we're going to have more with Scott Dobbe, who is head of Omaha by Design. I might ask him a little more about some of those transportation issues, but maybe some design issues about the growth and development, particularly in the urban core. So stay with us through the news. You're listening to Grow Omaha. Jeff and Trenton. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics, and we'll be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And we're back on Grow Omaha. Trenton Magid sitting next to me. I'm Jeff Beals. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. They are the Cadillac, Mercedes, and BMW all-in-one of All-Star Cheer gyms. All-Star Cheer is a very athletic form of competition. It's going to be in the Olympics coming in 2028. And Cheer Athletics is, like I said, the big brand in the all-star cheer world. They are currently located at highways 50 and 370, just a little bit southwest of there. In a couple years, they'll have a brand new facility on Highway 370, a lot further west in Gretna. But what you need to know, if you have a kid or a grandkid who wants to have an amazing experience with competition and confidence building and physical fitness and teamwork, look at Cheer Athletics. Just go to caomaha.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your Noddle Company's Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week, in which we talk about something in or near a Noddle Company's property. Noddle Company's is, you could make the argument, perhaps the premier real estate developer in town. Been at it for a long time. Projects all over the country here in Omaha. They have Exarban Village, Builders District, Rivers Edge and Council Bluffs. They have Steel Ridge in Papillion, Gretna, and many, many others. They've done headquarters projects in recent years like HDR and Valmont. Great people who do great work. Today we're going to feature the Exarban Village area, and we're going to talk about a little news item very close to Exarban Village in the shops at Exarban, and that's Total Wine. Signage is in place for Total Wine. Construction is coming along really nicely. What is Total Wine? Well, it's based in Maryland. It's a chain of upscale liquor superstores, and it is going into the former Bed Bath & Beyond space, Exarban Village, southeast corner of 72nd and Pacific. It's going to be a real, real nice addition. And once you see that sign on the outside of the building, you know the store will open soon.
Unfortunately, I hear that the Bed Bath & Beyond 20% discount flyers will not be honored.
It's a good point, and you can only hope that maybe they'll have some of their own specials when Total Wine opens 72nd and Pacific. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Noddle Company's Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week. You can learn about Noddle Company's or, some of their projects. Just, look at Noddle Companies or Exarban Village or Inner Rail Food Hall on Facebook. They all have great pages with all sorts of news, noddlecompanies.com. We have Scott Dobbe with us. He is head of Omaha by Design, and we were talking with Scott in the previous section or segment about the Market to Midtown Bikeway and how that's coming along. Scott, before I ask you a couple general questions about Omaha by Design, what are we looking at for timeline? The streetcar is supposed to open in a couple years.
Correct.
The Bikeway, same?
It's really concurrent with the streetcar, and that's because there's a lot of efficiencies. I mean, this is what's fun. It is not part of the streetcar project. They're separate, but they're working closely together. And with you think about all the underground utility work and such.
Staging areas and everything.
Yeah, all that stuff is going to come together, and I think there's going to be some efficiencies too that actually help to save cost in both these ways for putting that in. Then, so you can imagine whenever the streetcar comes online, that's about when we're going to see the Bikeway back.
Okay, so you had mentioned Metro Smart Cities, which is a nonprofit that was created by Omaha by Design and several other partners, and you work really closely with the city and the developers. Kind of give us an overview other than this Bikeway project we're talking about. What does your organization do? What do you guys get involved with each week?
Well, there's a lot going on. So we are Omaha by Design. We're the region's nonprofit hub for people-centered urban design and policy. And what does that mean? I mean, I think the listeners here, are probably those that are tuned into what is urban design. But for a lot of folks, it's the air we breathe. It's the built environment that surrounds us. How do we make sure that we shape it in terms of its capacity to grow and be a thriving place and full of, great. You mentioned Exarban Village, of course. I mean, my wife and I were there last night in the inner rail. I mean, the place was just hopping. Okay, well, that's urban design, and that's the kind of creative activity of shaping a city that Omaha by Design exists to help. It has us then working in a lot of fields. We're doing affordable housing. If you see public art rising across the city, there's a good chance that we had something to do with that.
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, even the silos at Highway 75 and I-80 that you might see. That was
big mural?
The
big mural.
ConAgra mill. Yeah, that's really cool, by the way.
Thank you. And I mean, all credit to the donors that help make it happen, the artists that do it, et cetera.
I thought I saw you on that scaffolding.
That was not me. No, sir. But props to them. Yeah, and then we help kind of plan and develop. We look ahead, and that's our great privilege. I say to my wonderful team that I'm just so blessed to work with. There's 5 of us there that we get to come in with this privilege every day to be thinking about what should the city look like in 15, 20, 25 years. Not everybody else has that opportunity. They're focused on the many things.
And not every city has so many great stakeholders and philanthropists and people that before they die, they want to see great projects happen. For sure. I mean, we are massively blessed in that regard. And we're becoming that kind of a city. So it's our joy to be part of that. One great example is we partnered with a broad group, including, again, philanthropy, but also the city of Omaha, other nonprofit partners, to lead the effort to devise a new master plan for the city of Omaha. I mean, I think this is kind of big and breaking news. It's not a secret, but it's just rolling out. It's called We Make Omaha. And there's a survey live right now, wemakeomaha.org. Would be a great place to send folks a quick chance to say, what's your vision for the next 20 years? Because we haven't done a master plan for 30 years. And I don't know, has anything changed in 30 years? I would say a lot. And I was lightly
involved. You guys look
involved.
just the same.
Yeah, I haven't changed.
You have no idea.
In 1997, I was lightly involved with some charrettes and stuff like that for the Omaha Master Plan. I was just really getting started in my career.
So, Scott, when we talk about the urban core, we're talking, and Omaha by Design, by the way, does more than just the urban core.
Yeah.
But that's something that's getting a lot of people excited because so much movement is happening there and so many blockbuster projects in the urban core. We're basically talking to the river to about Saddle Creek corridor. And when we think about that, we've got this explosion of development happening and going to get even bigger near the Med Center and then downtown. When you look through your Omaha by Design lenses, what do you see? And maybe this is just Scott talking as an opinion, not the organization. But what do you see about the between land? Say, right on either side of 480. What can that become after the streetcar?
I think that's where the opportunity is so rich. And as you talk about the urban core, and I appreciate how you framed that, but I'd say even beyond the river. I think it includes Council Bluffs. I think there's so much happening at River's Edge and the potential of Dodge Park Golf Course, et cetera. But if you really look at it, and a satellite image is a great way to look at this, we have so much underutilized space, and that is just a latent asset. It's a thing that we can boost to create a place that people want to be, that attracts the kind of talent we need, that means that this is a great place. So when my 4 kids grow up, this is where they want to live. And ultimately, it helps to make everything we want to see in our city, no matter what part of the city you reside in, easier to do because we've got more value. And that value ultimately, spurs the city services and everything that we need.
Were there some renderings of like capping?
There are.
Over 480,
Yeah.
like what do you call it, a lid? Or?
A lid, and it's something I'm very, very interested in. I've seen other cities doing it. I've
Grassy
spoken
areas
with them.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So basically 480 becomes a tunnel under a park.
Yeah, because a highway like that, an urban highway, we talk about them as almost like they're urban rivers. They divide spaces and they become something that like repels development. You don't want to walk right alongside 480, do you? But if suddenly it's just a park and you can just, effortlessly just bridge over, it's become like, think of the value of what that is and the attractiveness of connecting us that way.
Freeways become kind of like subways in places, and that you can still get around fast, but they don't impact the street life.
Yeah, we've got to move people and freight, but then we've got to also make it a place people want to be.
So I want to wrap up with a kind of a philosophical question from your world. Trenton and I are both Omaha natives, so we've been around here for a long time, and we have, given what we do, and with Grow Omaha, we've had a front row seat to watch a mentality change. When we were young professionals and kids here, the thought was build things and make them utilitarian and make some good money. And a lot of parts of Omaha, frankly, if I can use a vernacular word, looked like crap when we were kids. And when we started talking about design standards, understandably, a lot of developers were concerned, like, hey, how can we make money with this? What I've seemed to notice in the new Omaha and some places that we've modeled after is that as design standards increase, property values increase. So talk to us a little bit about how you balance the needs of developers to make a profit and to be incentivized to keep taking risks with this very real desire that we all have to make Omaha beautiful.
I love the question, and this is what we spend our days thinking of. As we sit here in, as you call it, the KFAB studios high above Underwood Avenue, right? I think we're in the epicenter of an example of that. Dundee was developed years ago. Now, this is a development, and it was, it was built to sell houses and et cetera. It was a streetcar stop, but it has a value that has lasted. My wife,
style.
And a style, right? We can build, and we can absolutely build places like this today and anywhere in the metro. And I think that's the beauty. We just have to be intentional about it and have a life cycle thought that it really isn't much more expensive to build it right from the get-go. But we have to build it for people first and foremost. And that's something we got away from a little bit in the latter part of the last century.
All right. Well, Scott, we sure appreciate the work you guys are doing, and thank you for taking part of your Dundee Day Saturday to come
It's
join
lively
us.
out there.
Yeah, it's Dundee Day outside KFAB studios right now, folks. But Scott, thank you so much, and best of success to you and your
also,
colleagues.
you're running for office.
I am. ScottForOmaha.com, the RMTA, the Regional Metropolitan Transit Authority.
Okay, Scott
Are
Dobbe.
you running against other people?
Yeah, it's democracy. Yes,
absolutely. All right, we got Scott.
After last week, I didn't know we were having that.
We got to take a break. No politics, Trenton. All right, we're running out of time. After we come back, it'll be our our Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things in a short period of time. On News Radio 1110 KFAB. It's time for our Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round. A lot of things on the docket this morning. Thank you to Perkins Kreitzer Construction for making this possible. Who are they? Well, they do everything. They build everything. Doesn't matter whether you want to build an office building, a shopping strip center, a church, a warehouse. They do all of that. But they also we'll do smaller projects too. Like we've talked many times about restaurant build outs that Perkins Kreitzer Construction has done, because God knows in the lightning round, we love to talk about restaurants. It's our favorite subject, and Perkins Kreitzer Construction does so many of those. Dave Kreitzer, our good friend, runs the place. He's got a team of project administrators, managers, superintendents, carpenters, laborers, who are all outstanding. So much experience and so committed to making sure their clients' projects are done properly and with the right budget. Perkins Kreitzer Construction, you can find out more about them by going to p-cconstruction.com. All right, Trenton, a lot of things here real fast. First of all, the old Austin space is going to get a new tenant at 168th and Center.
It'll be good looking.
Good looking. The restaurant from 48th and Underwood right here in beautiful downtown Dundee. Omaha's Benson District will soon welcome Set the Bar, a sports bar dedicated to women's sports at 6121 Maple Street. Scheduled to open in early December. It'll be Nebraska's first women's sports bar and only the 7th one in the entire country. Its goal is to offer a fresh take on the traditional sports bar, elevating women's sports. And speaking of sports bars, Let It Fly, West Omaha location, opening August 30th. The one in the Capital District has been very popular.
Yeah, it has. The after party was from the CRE Summit was there yesterday.
Oh, so you were over there yesterday. Well, like the downtown Let It Fly, it'll be big. 10,000 square feet, 32-foot diagonal LED screen, all sorts of cool stuff.
It's like home.
August 3rd, just like some people's homes. Boiling Claws Express Seafood and Wings. Boiling Claws Express Seafood and Wings. Cool name. It's a local food truck, but they're going to go brick and mortar. Their store will be at 1313 Cumming Street, just west of Charles Schwab Field. Opening date is set for late this fall. And can't wait to check that out. Always good to see new retail tenants in North Downtown. Snowy Sundays. Snowy Sundays. Sometimes I have to say them twice just so you can understand what I'm saying, because Snowy Sundays probably doesn't translate well on the radio. But it's a family-owned dessert shop. It opened last week in Benson at 6015 Maple Street next to Ted and Wally's. Also in Benson, African Cocktail Lounge recently opened. The address is 7215 Blondo Street. And along with cocktails, the lounge serves finger foods while drawing on Africa's rich cultural heritage to create a vibrant and captivating atmosphere that celebrates the continent's diversity. Playful Pines Indoor Park opened July 20th at 180th and Harrison. The actual address is 7051 South 181st Street. Indoor play area for kids 7 and younger. Looks really cool. Everything's made out of like wood, and it looks like it was one of those things where you say, why didn't they have that when we were kids?
Because we played outside with a stick and a rock.
And got dirty. 6 Nebraska pizza shops have made Yelp's 2024 list of the top 100 pizza spots in the Midwest. And of the 6, 5 of them were in Omaha. Omaha's Tasty Pizza, Orsi's Italian Bakery, Izzy's Pizza Bus, Manja, and Dolomiti were all of them. Music's playing, which means the PC Construction Lightning Round is finito. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, Cheer Athletics, and Perkins Kreitzer Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.